Hello, fellers. Today we're going to talk about offing yourself, about no longer existing, about going away forever, about leaving, about dying, and dying to yourself more specifically. I was thinking about this idea the other day, and while I was thinking about it, it reminded me of how I grew up. So when I was growing up, they'd tell us these stupid stories like over and over and over again. I grew up in a very rhetorical home, a very rhetorical culture, society. You know, everything was filled with stories and songs and rhyme schemes and singing and poems, and it was just beautiful. And a lot of that entailed metaphors and a lot of imagery and analogies. And one specific story that I remember was the story of the two wolves. And man, especially when we did something bad, I remember I'd do something bad and my teacher would call me up to her desk and she'd be like, "Corbin, do you remember the story of the two wolves?" And I'd be like, "Yes, miss." And she'd be like, "What is the story of the two wolves?" And then I had to repeat the story. And then she was like, "So why don't you behave like that's true?" And today I'm going to tell you the story of the two wolves. And this is the story of the two wolves. Each person has two wolves inside them. There's a good wolf and there's a bad wolf. Which one survives? Because only one can survive. Which one do you think survives? And the answer to that question is the one you feed, right? The one you feed. And I think that's a brilliant story. Because if you think about it, if you examine yourself and your life, you realize that you do things often that you know are not good for you. Right? It feels good in the moment, but you know it's not good for you, and you do it still. Whether that's playing video games when you know you shouldn't, whether that's staying up for an extra 2 hours when you know you'll be sluggish tomorrow, if you do that. But, in the short run, it's fun, so why not? And that's the bad wolf. That's the side of you that's not in your best interest, right? That's the side that doesn't want to see you succeed. That's the side that wants pleasure right now. That's the side that doesn't want greatness. That's the side that wants to stay where it's at and not improve. And I'm going to get more stern as I talk because this is more serious. And I know I started out a bit lighthearted, but it's a very, very serious topic and I've been pondering it myself. And if you feed that side, it will grow and eventually it'll eat the good side. That's the half of the story that they left out, right? It doesn't stop where you just feed one side. Oh, that side grows bigger and that side survives. No, the side you feed will eat the other side, and it will grow even bigger until you can't control it, until you can no longer control it. That's the story of the two wolves. And guess what? You have those two wolves inside you. And so here's the deal. What's scary about this story is that both wolves are you. You are both wolves. You are both your good side and your bad side at the same time. This is a fallen world. We're human beings. No one's perfect. We have our vices. Everyone has their vices. Me, as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself, which is why it's, I do this so intently because I'm talking to myself. I'm literally, as I'm staring at the camera, I'm pretending that I'm seeing myself and I'm talking to myself right now. So this is me addressing me. This isn't me talking down to you. I'm talking to myself right now, right? We have both sides in us and both sides are us, right? And which is why I said at the beginning of this video that you have to die to yourself. You must off that other side. I don't know if YouTube permits me using the word in the title, but you get what I mean. You have to diminish that side of you in order to succeed, because that side will always be prodding at you over and over and over. Every single thing you do, one step towards success, it's either anxiety, fear, depression, demotivation. It's one of those four. Almost always sadness, and as soon as you take a step forward, it's like, can I really do this? No, I'm not that good. They're watching me. I'm not that good. I really can't do it. I'm so tired, man. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I didn't get proper breakfast. I didn't drink enough water, and all these things start flooding into your mind. And then if you give into it, you lose, right? There's this proverb that goes, the sluggard cries out for a lion in the street, right? It goes, the sluggard cries because there's a lion in the street. And basically what that means is that the people who fail to do something, the people who fail to strive, the people who fail to move forward will always find an excuse to not move forward. Now you have to decide if you're that type of person. And you are that type of person to some degree because the temptation is there. The temptation is there, but it's your decision whether or not you're going to give into it. If you always have a choice. You always have a choice in the matter. So that side of you has to die. You have to do away with that side of you. If you want to succeed, if you want to achieve anything, you have to be willing to repress and off that side, completely do away with it. You know, when it comes to you nagging at you, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I don't really feel like going for this run. Say, be gone. Be gone. I don't associate with you anymore. Right? That's not me. You have to say that to yourself, and you have to believe it. You have to act like it, because guess what? If you give into it, the good side knows. And then it begins to second guess itself. It's like, is this really what I want? And it's like, yes, that is what you want, but you've given into failure so many times over that now you're confused. Right? And that's what I mean by offing that side. You have to be gone with that side. That side has to go. It has to go. Right? You have to be willing to kill that side of you. I said it. What the frick? You know, you have to be willing to do away with it. And that's what it takes to succeed. It's a sacrifice, right? You cannot separate sacrifice from success. If you are pursuing something that you want to achieve, you have to give up everything else to achieve that thing, right? I'm going to demonstrate. If I want to walk over here, right? Say reaching that log is success. I walk over here, right? Touched it. The only way I could walk and touch that log is if I walked and touched that log. If I decided to go here, I couldn't get to that log. It doesn't make any sense. So I have sacrificed this path in order to get to that log. And that's what I mean with success. Success is the very, very narrow path. You can't fool yourself into it. You can't trick the universe into it. You can't trick God into it. You can't even trick yourself. Right? And so what that means is that you have to sacrifice everything else, even that bad side of yourself, in order to succeed. That's what I mean by this video. You have to die to yourself to succeed. You have to be willing to completely obliterate and remove that side of you that's prone to failure, prone to sadness, prone to depression, prone to discouragement, and say, hey, that's no longer me. I am feeding the good wolf every day from now on. And that's what my life is like. That's what it's about. And that's how you're going to move forward. There is no other way. You can't negotiate with yourself. It's a hard and fast rule, black and white, with yourself. And the good thing about it is you have control over yourself. No one controls you. You control yourself. Tap into your mind and use the faculties that God has blessed you with, because that's the only way you can move forward. Thank you for watching. This is Corbin Conversations. And remember, you must die to yourself. I'll see you next time.